you consider that we're all far more connected now than we ever used to be, you know, purchasing things online, watching movies, watching TV shows through streaming services and stuff like that. And to sign up for these services, you need to input your financial information, you need to input a username and a password and things like that. And good cyber hygiene has a huge impact on that. The propensity for a fraudster or a hacker to steal that information, use it against you, you know, not just organizations that I speak to, but, you know, friends and family, when they say, oh, I have the same password for absolutely everything, don't see that as a problem. They see it as an inconvenience and a barrier. And, you know, I can talk till I'm blue in the face and tell them stories about how, you know, we've actually hacked a company, you know, start to finish, just because someone was using the same password for absolutely everything. And when you put it into context like that, when you can show somebody how it doesn't just affect their business life, it can affect their personal life as well, that tends to be when you actually get true behavior change. The fact is that we do work with organizations across various industries, and the culture from one organization is not going to be the same for a culture over here. The reality is that it comes down to what that organization wants to achieve and their culture. You know, I've worked with organizations where there'll be a phishing campaign, there might be a couple of people that click a phishing link and, you know, for lack of a better phrase, they want it to be a witch hunt. They want to name and shame. They want to say, well, these employees, you know, point the finger at them and they need a bit of extra training. If that's what they need, that's what we will facilitate, you know. And from the other side of the spectrum, it'll be the case of, look, we don't want to name and shame people. We don't want to put that amount of pressure on people. So in those capacities, then we'll just give everybody the same training, and then it's fair to say that there's been a level playing field. I will say though, where I have conducted these sessions in the past, where we've had a phishing campaign conducted and a web application has captured people's passwords, for example, if you then display those passwords on screen in a room full of about 30 people, you can see the jaws drop and you can see people starting to point the finger at each other. That's your password, I recognize it, and things like that. And it's funny, but also at the same time, that's what people remember. That's the important part. That's what changes behavior. That's the sort of thing where people leave the session talking about cybersecurity. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to achieve. The reality is that cybersecurity can be quite a dry subject. You know, I've had people come into my sessions sitting there looking at their watch, looking at their phone, saying, I can't believe I've got to sit through this for the next hour. But the reality is, and certainly what I've found in my time that I've been doing this, is that everybody loves a story. I've sat through training in the past, which just don't do this, don't do that, and you're not really given a reason to care about it. You're not given context, you're not given a reason as to how this could affect you. It's just horror story from company you've never heard of, stuff like that. We can tell you a story of how we've hacked a company from start to finish. And each individual composite part, every failure that led to that company being hacked is on the part of a single staff member doing something that maybe in isolation wasn't so terrible. You know, something you might do yourself, like using the same password for everything, or signing up for something personal using your work email address. If you can understand what we call the kill chain, you know, the stepping stones that we as hackers use to move from one thing to the next, it's easier to put yourself in that picture. I've had people in my sessions sit there and go, oh, I do that. And you can almost see the realization on their face of that's how this happens. It doesn't seem that terrible, but the reality is that the hacker's not necessarily using you. They want the crown jewels, they want the thing over here, but you are a stepping stone for them to get what they want. Being able to walk an organization through how we've hacked a company from start to finish, those stories are so powerful. That's the differentiator. That's where we have had people say to us, we really enjoyed this training. An organization I delivered a course to in the summer said they loved it. Have you ever heard anybody say that they love cybersecurity awareness? It just doesn't happen. That's the differentiator there.